relationships celebrated. Unions memorialized in both tradition and innovation. Rare footage that show how the most universal of emotions become unique expressions of indigenous Philippine cultures. From coy flirtations in dance to charming spoken love letters. From symbolic conquest to journeys on the open waters, all reflections of our boundless energy. Kakaibang sigla sa pagsusuyo, pagkakaisa at pagmamahalan. Eduardo Masferre's photographs of the people of the Cordilleras will always be an outstanding record of how the animists of the mountain range lived and dressed. The half-Spanish photographer lived and worked in the Cordilleras, and his body of work, many of which are now considered classic photographs, was produced in the mid-20th century. These photographs are not just important records but also constitute a beautiful nostalgia for many contemporary Cordillerans. But while many of the indigenous peoples no longer dress or live the way Masferre's photographs capture them, one group stands out for its strict adherence to traditional garb. And while the traditional garb remains mostly unchanged, the story of the Gadang people is marked by resistance, revolt, assimilation, division, and integration. The Gadang are a linguistically identified people who traditionally occupy the watershed areas of the Cagayan River. The Austronesian ancestors of the Gadang likely arrived at the northern coast of Luzon 6,000 to 9,000 years ago and interbred with local Negritos around 2,000 years ago. Over time, they moved inland into the valley surrounding the Cagayan River, and from there into the foothills where 5 subgroups, all speaking variations of the Gadang language, were recorded. Early expeditions like the one led by Juan de Salcedo in 1572 brought Spanish rule into the Cagayan Valley. In 1596, the Diocese of Nueva Segovia was established in Cagayan, and with that, the arrival of the Dominicans. Shortly after, in 1608, the Gadang were first recorded in the Spanish annals. The Gadang did not take lightly the intrusion and the imposition of a new religion and the forced tributes of the Spanish. They revolted in 1621 and then again in the late 1700s. Still, while many chose to convert, others chose to move higher upland. Today, the Gadang still occupy the upper reaches of the Malig River, where they are mainly found in the municipality of Paracedes. But scattered communities are also found in the highlands of Kalinga, Apayao, Eastern Bontoc, and Isabela. In 1997, the Indigenous Peoples Act recognized the Gadang as an indigenous people with political structure and a right to ancestral domain and the right to education in their mother tongue. Still, for many of the upland Gadang, survival remains a challenge. Like many of the Cordillera IPs, many young Gadang have sought new lives and careers in the city and abroad. But for those who have remained, many aspects of the traditional Gadang culture are a link to their history and to a unique and enduring identity.
Patunay ang EDSA na ang tunay na kapangyarihan ay nasa kamay ng bawat isa.
textiles feature the most visible of the Gadang's tangible heritage, their weaves and their fastidious beaded traditional garb. Until the Gadang weaves first became known to the public, the Kalinga were renowned as the peacocks of the north. But when scholars and textile collectors first became aware of the Gadang in the 1980s, a new standard of fastidious indigenous dress was set. Dayaw had met the Gadang weavers on several occasions during trade fairs and cultural seminars in Manila, where they had been invited to demonstrate their weaving techniques. Densely woven striped fabrics produced on backstrap looms are the specialty of the Gadang weaver. The textiles are embellished with braiding and twinning. But the real wonder and what makes their textiles most distinctive is the incorporation of minute trade beads, pom-poms, and other found objects into the textiles. The woman's traditional garb is made up of a short blouse or barawasi, a wrap skirt or akin, and a sash or bakwat. On her head and neck, she wears assemblages of heirloom beads. The male garb is composed of a short sleeveless blouse or kuton, a loincloth or abang, and a cape with tassels and pom-poms or tapit. A red bandana and a wooden cap with shell platelets are topped with feathers. Both men and women keep their belongings in the sayay, a red pouch bound by silver rings. Scholars have described the full effect of a Gadang ensemble as visually arresting, even magical. Indeed, the full effect of these objects of material culture are stunning, and best seen in motion as the beads and bells on the textiles glisten as the Gadang dance. It is one thing to see these amazing articles on clothing in a museum or in a cultural presentation, and quite another thing to see the Gadang who welcomed the Dayaw team way back in 2018. Invited by the elders of Paracelis in Mountain Province to document their intangible heritage of chants and rituals. The elders were afraid that many of them would soon be gone, and that there would be no record of what was still remembered and highly valued. They had sent a message to one of our producers that they would convene the oldest and most important culture bearers, who would probably be recorded for posterity. Weaving has become a viable cottage industry for the women. It was a chance for us to record up close the process of ornamentation unique to the Gadang. Marcelina Balansi and Amparo Balansi Mabanag are both master weavers who have been weaving since 1985. Both also specialize in the intricate beadwork.
Mamukat ang tawag namin dito. Bukat po, yung nagkakabit ng itong, kasi tawag namin sa bukat sa bead is bukat. Kailangan kasing sinusukat muna bago tusok para maipit yung kuan beads para hindi siya naglalaro. Kaya gaganon. Tapos tignan yung distance para pareho.
Magkaparehas lahat ang distance para magandang tignan din. Kasi kung dito, malapit, malayo, hindi magandang tignan. Kaya the same sizes. Kung hindi pa sanay ang tao, bibilangin lang itong limbawa ito tinusok ko dito sa sa banda dito, binibilang ko to 1, 2, 3, 4. Tapos paglagay ko na naman ng ganito, bibilangin ko rin 1, 2, 3, 4. Dito ko na naman ilalagay, itutusok yung karayom para pare-parehas lahat, pantay-pantay.
Proudly, Amparo showed off her heirloom pieces.
Itong dalawang klase na design namin, itong lalad at saka inang mata. Yung sabi ng mga magulang namin noon, yung mga ninuno namin, yung lalad, gamit ng para sa mga medyo wala. Yung inang mata, sa mga mayayaman kasi mas mahal yun eh. Mas mahal ang inang mata kaysa sa lalad.
Ano po yung suot niyo? Lalad o inang mata?
Ito ma'am yung barawasi, yung lalad. Sa taas, lalad. Pero sa belt at saka itong skirt, inang mata ma'am.
Complementing the textiles is a profusion of bead assemblages, precious heirlooms that had managed to avoid sale to collectors and dealers. These were shown to us by Antonio Buyagan Kayug.
We have the accessories. We have one put around the wrist. We call that anot. And then merong beads of 8 to 9 layers tied around the neck. We call that kakad. We have yung earring, we call that buraway. Then we have one placed here on the forehead, we call that singat. And then layers of smaller beads higher around, we call that apagi. Meron pang beads also higher, binakaw.
Among the elders gathered, we spotted a rare example of Gadang tattooing on Lami Bayungan. The patterns bear a striking similarity to the tattoos of the neighboring Kalinga. But the informant could not share if, like a Kalinga, a tattoo was the mark of a distinguished headhunter and a badge of honor that could be worn by his wife. It is easy to be overwhelmed by the wealth of material culture. It is especially heartening to know that government support has encouraged a healthy revival of weaving among the women.
Matagal na hindi namin nung napabayaan ang kultura namin, yung pagwiwi, beadworkings, tapos yung mga embroidery. Dahil walang nagturo, walang interesadong matuto o mag-aral. Pero nung may program na yung ng NCCA, doon nagsimula. Kinuha nila ako na cultural master ng weaving, lahat yung beadworkings at saka yung embroidery, accessories making. Doon nagsimula na hanggang ngayon, ongoing na ginagawa namin.
The skills are certainly being passed on, but there are other treasures of culture that must be documented. Among the examples of intangible culture that they allowed us to record were the chants. First, the balogay, a chant used to welcome visitors to the village.
Paningaggan si baloge na gadang agagangay. Nagpapinan no, wara ke payim papalongera maparanata, irang ke penalulamango, mga dasi na pia balogay. Ude si kota sumabane, ame tampe inamu, ino patataruburan apay. Ude na kepay si kanal lang onda dinuto kane onde na kepay pure bang kupela mantang apela bang wasi kakatawara mape si korona lubumpay ta akiran da paningagan siga dampay si awana amuta si koran si balogay si bakan si wara nakalakamanta si odupay.
Then the darosan, another chant used during the pounding of rice grains.
Babayong kuyo apayim yeso atong kubado mato yemme so yemme yo yemme aloka banutan yemme so yemme an bumbu da taroko yemme mabayo to apay ko yemme.
And finally, the aling one, chanted before newlyweds.
So ikayo lang amis, kwele aray pating iyang ipas ni daw lang yan madalta. Mayon lang petuntulan no kami papalongo aga daang ta madal kayo. Sewara so ikami maparana dawe awaning kaya nadal si tata si kami one ang gandona no may parehas kayo na so ikami tanawaran lang o aray pas ni daw miskwela ta may buwa dandaman no mga tawa si ilo deta aliwa maalamang anak kira noy maudya no mga tawa udde na no makarap patete peso ang ganta iskwela ne kasi tampe na dandaman ni mga tawa anak kira antiyaw no itutum kusi kayo anak kira sen nakabayo barkada yo ono nakabayo kay eskwela
The last chant was most appropriate as it gave advice to the newlyweds about the qualities of a successful union.
Kainga nantalampaya maparana ang kayo penaim makaapasin adala.
The kind that we would record over the next few days at Dayaw stayed with a Gadang of Paracelis.
Susunod sa Schoolmates, political dynasty sa bansa. Dapat na bang ipagbawal? Pakinggan ang hot takes ng mga estudyante ng Mariano Ponce National High School.
Demokrasya hindi lang para sa isang apelido. Matagal nang nabilanggo ang Pilipinas sa political monopolies.
Hindi naman pag sinabi na may dynasty, pangit na. May mga instances na may dynasty nga pero maganda.
Kabataan, may pakialam ka. Kaya bumoses na sa Schoolmates, Huwebes ng gabi, dito lang sa PTV.
Gadang, of course, start with courtship. But in the earlier times, there was no formal courtship between a boy lover and a girl. There are two instances we call the parental arrangement or parental engagement, where two couples agree that when they will have child later on, their children will marry. And then the second instance is when the boy is grown up and begins feeling in love. He has the freedom to choose whomever he would want to marry. And so there is courtship. And then the processes of courtship is, of course, when there are occasions, when they meet, they talk together.
Maruga kaya pa mamaltok.
Maruga kaya pa mamaltok. Ititakalo da manam.
But most of all, courtship is done with the parents. When the boy will do something, do favor, help the parents of the girl, especially the father, do different kinds of work and bring some betel nut and the other materials for nganga, so that the parents of the girl would somehow appreciate what the boy is doing. Another way of helping is to bring firewood, cut the firewood, split for use of the family.
Man na ang masapitan niya nusin. Mamalbag darang kailan niya. Oh, nanggang kung kaya nabindaw, eran to, ta ang kunayan da aman ni ina.
And then when the boy really is decided to want to marry the girl, he informs his parents.
Ama, ina, an naman tinunisibik ko sa daw aga atawa kon.
Up to the moment when the parents would agree to go through the process of marriage.
Yan takan pa yatawa saya ang makanung pa may pasidye balay si kota.
The parents would now agree to go to the parents of the girl and to offer a dowry in the form of a special, a precious being called kiring. They go to the house of the girl, to the parents, and talk to them, bringing along their son, and informs the parents of the intention of the boy to marry the girl.
Pasensya na kami sa talaga. Ginamuhan kami pelangga kurja, may makakaturoy no. Ginak kami pay. Mereka gindanan si silabo. Karuma to gamami to ako yarang karuin naransu. Santo noyo panggamani nanolay antuin tutun nasin si kotang karua sinolay.
Tapi bangke kolak se ninandang paya na bindoyan ko na yan nunga kurudi ini nakaiti terase bawanya se.
Pe paita si kwayo mom tan bindo noon na paita paita mbakat si koray. Sana pa nakanda.
Ayaw, pawaan ko may paye, magipamuldo te, kola kino, kwa, gawan mo.
Gawan ko yung diyawan kay pin na naman tamse tatabang ito sabing. Pagkakafale no ang gamyabing mo pa ya. O may meta ko lang.
One, isang tamaman to.
Ano, nasikunda, ito na nga na si Ametama. Aray, yanungon naman to yan. Awa din eh.
Talaga. Hanggang guyaw.
Awa din na. Nanu.
Hindi na yung masa. Talaga.
Ito pa yan nanusong pala niyan. Anak ka rin.
In the next episode of Dayaw, the courtship culminates in a wedding and a feast. Here, many of the elements of both Gadang, tangible and intangible culture meld into a celebration for the senses. Music, textiles, chants, dancing, all celebrating the aspects of Dayaw, our knowledge, our pride.